In the previous episode of the Eminence in Shadow Season 2, the Mitsugoshi company has gutted themselves into a corporate battle against the major corporate alliance, but a third party under John Smith and Yukime have secretly joined the battle as well. However, the extent of their involvement hasn't been made clear to both factions, although with episode 5, we will finally see the impact of their plans and how John Smith will make his entrance. As usual, the anime did make some creative changes to certain aspects from the light novel, so I will be discussing about those along with breaking down the episode. It goes without saying, if you haven't watched the episode yet, here's a spoiler warning just in case. If you enjoyed this cut content / breakdown video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well, it really helps. To start, the 5th episode of Season 2 will cover chapters 5 and 6 from Volume 3 of the light novel. The episode is titled He Who Pulls the Strings, which is quite fitting because it essentially shows Mitsugoshi and the MCA trying to figure out the mysterious faction behind the counterfeit money, only to have John Smith finally making his existence known to Shadow Garden. Now in the beginning of the episode, we get a glimpse of the Clovers sent by the MCA to infiltrate Mitsugoshi, followed by Gamma delivering her reports to Alpha about the state of affairs of Mitsugoshi. And it seems that despite the countless attempts to sabotage their operations by the MCA and Gamma not relying too much on Shadow Garden, fearing Mitsugoshi might be discovered to be connected to them, Mitsugoshi was still much stronger in the marketplace while the MCA has been gradually failing, a testament to the intelligence and business mind of Gamma. This scene was pretty much the same in the light novel, although with some minor differences like having Omega and Kai present in the background. Also, they seem to know that Gatton is the person truly in control of the MCA, which wasn't mentioned in the light novel. So after Gamma's report, New arrives to inform them about unwanted guests inside the building, and it's here the episode made some changes to the sequence that followed. Basically, Alpha had ordered New to handle the intruders, but Gamma volunteered to go herself, and even though she was initially met with silence and doubt from everyone, she reiterates for a second time and Alpha reluctantly approved, which we'll learn the reason why when Gamma meets the intruders. I actually found the entire interaction to be quite hilarious, and seeing Omega and Kai's reactions after being assigned to babysit Gamma definitely helped add to the humor. But this unfortunately means that we won't get to see New in action because in the light novel, she was the one assigned to support Gamma. In addition to that, when Gamma left with Omega and Kai, the parallels in their facial expressions were also being contrasted with Alpha revealing that Gamma was only 17 and New's surprise reactions were anime original scenes that were again extremely funny. That said, the next scene where Gamma encounters the intruders sent by the MCA was different as well because in the light novel, the three Clovers actually infiltrated different parts of Mitsugoshi for separate objectives. Lift 1 was supposed to steal important documents while Lift 2 sabotages the building and Lift 3 will be kidnapping important Mitsugoshi employees. However, in the episode, their objectives seem to mostly be kidnapping Luna, the president of Mitsugoshi and the public persona of Gamma. Furthermore, unlike the light novel, Gamma wasn't attacked from behind by Lift 1. Instead, she along with Omega and Kai directly met with the Clovers. They went into battle immediately with Omega and Kai dealing with Lift 2 and Lift 3 while Gamma fought Lift 1, and it was impressive that she took a direct hit from Lift 1 without taking any real damages. And it's here we finally see the true power of Gamma, someone who has essentially maxed out all her offensive and defensive stats, but utterly lacks any coordination or dexterity. We also learn how Gamma developed this crazy fighting style thanks to Shadow because in the flashback, you can see how exhausted he looked from having to teach someone like her. That's why he asked her to simply put lots of magical energy into all her attacks and hope for the best. Of course, being a Chunimbyo, he also told her to make her attacks look intimidating by making noises, and this is how Gamma developed her signature whoosh attack. With that explained, going back to the fight, none of Gamma's attacks were even landing, but not realizing it was because she is just clumsy and sucks at combat, she somehow rationalizes this as Lift 1 being an insanely talented warrior. She even praised him for hitting her a second time, but again, it didn't damage her at all. I think the most damage she took from the entire fight were all inflicted by herself, and she even destroyed a portion of Mitsugoshi. I guess that's why Alpha was reluctant to send Gamma, and seeing both her and New face palming was just hilarious. Gamma even did more harm to Mitsugoshi than the Cult of Diablos and the MCA combined. Nonetheless, Lift 1 was outright scared and baffled by Gamma's bullshit, so he tries to escape with Lift 2 and 3, which was somewhat different as well. In the light novel, it was more brutal with New appearing while holding the heads of Lift 2 and 3, but in the episode they only seem to be knocked out. Seeing this, Lift 1 tries to escape by himself, so Gamma gets ready to attack but she trips again and her sword somehow kills him. She then tries to cover herself by calling it her secret self-sacrifice spinning wheel technique. Even Omega and Kai were judging her nonsense. I honestly felt bad for the enemy because imagine dying to such a dumb attack. But moving on, in the next scene where Gatton delivers his report to Gatton about the clovers and all their forces having been wiped out by Mitsugoshi was mostly the same as the light novel. The only change made was the addition of a minor original scene of Gatton recalling his past, and we see the young Sid in his stylish bandit slayer disguise, hinting that he might be the one who caused Gatton to lose his eyesight. Now getting to the part where Sid is training with Alexia, the episode actually took some creative liberties in regards to the scene, mainly how he ended up in that situation. To explain, he was having his usual background character moment with Scar and Poe while mumbling his typical cryptic one-liners as well, when Alexia appears and drags her pooch away because she apparently wanted to show Sid her swordplay. The conversation that happens afterwards with Sid complimenting Alexia and his genuine reaction to how much she has improved followed the light novel exactly. Also, the episode did a great job at making the part where Alexia explains to Sid why she wants to become stronger feel more intense and solemn than the light novel. You can see that she really did regret not being strong enough to save Rose and her frustration of being a bystander. In any case, after their meeting, Sid had actually planned on meeting with Yukime, but again there were some creative changes made to the scene. Instead of him meeting with Yukime directly like in the light novel, he was waiting at the noodle store for Natsu to deliver the news that the production of the counterfeit money was done. And I was glad they kept the location in which the counterfeit money was being made. It was the same place that Viscount Oba had used when he kidnapped Claire back in season 1. However, in the light novel, John Smith was supposed to meet Yukime in the factory, but here in the episode they actually met on the train. But continuing on, when the counterfeit and real MCA money was shown to John, he actually couldn't tell the difference, so he decided to just use his enhanced vision to bullshit about some of the details, such as the quality of the paper, the consistency of the ink, and the slightly off printing. He was only pretending to know what he is saying, and somehow Yukime was tricked by his performance. The interaction here was quite faithful to the source, although in the light novel, John never outright say which of the paper money were fakes, but the episode actually had him say it and he was completely wrong. I did find it funny that even though John was wrong, Yukime didn't question his capabilities and was gaslighted into believing that she was the one trying too hard to make the counterfeits believable. Regardless, Yukime also informs John about Gatton and how she wants revenge because he apparently killed her entire family and clan. And I like to believe the advice that John gives to Yukime about being careful when it comes to vengeance was his genuine advice and not him trying to act cool, because this would imply that he isn't a complete psychopath. Having said that, we return to Mitsugoshi and Gamma as giving another report to Alpha about their discovery of counterfeit money, although the way it was portrayed was slightly different. In the light novel, Gamma was in a hurry to tell Alpha about the news, and their reactions were much more flustered, whereas in the episode, they were more composed, which I find to be more fitting with their characters. Anyways, it seems that only Mitsugoshi has learned about the counterfeit money, so Alpha orders Gamma to start spreading rumors to the MCA, because if people start to question the value of paper currency, it will hurt Mitsugoshi as well. That's why Alpha also sent the numbers, explicitly the team consisting of 664, 665 and 666 to investigate the source, because in the light novel, their squad was apparently regarded quite highly by Shadow Garden for their amazing team composition and that Alpha personally saw the potential in Rose. With that, Gatton would deliver the news of counterfeits to Gatton as well, and even they couldn't tell the differences, so they sent their people to start investigating the matter. However, Gatton's reaction was quite calm because this has been the cult's plan all along, to have the circulating counterfeit money be discovered by the masses, which will bring about the collapse of the credit given to paper currency. And since the MCA was only a pawn to the cult, they did not care if they get destroyed because their main objective has always been to destroy Mitsugoshi. This was also the reason why Gatton stated that they intentionally made the MCA's paper money easier to replicate, which wasn't mentioned in the episode. But the episode did go on a longer explanation about the concept behind circulating counterfeit money and how it will affect the market. Now in the scene following this, 664, 665 and 666 were able to locate the source for the counterfeit money, and even though this entire part happened in a similar fashion to the light novel, there were still some creative alterations. For instance, the location where the attack was quite different. In the light novel, this took place within the city and the target was a normal carriage, whereas for the episode, it was the train that John had met Yukime in. In addition to that, the episode even removed the scene of Sid standing atop a clock tower overseeing the transport carriage while doing his usual Chunibyo monologuing. Furthermore, the fight between John Smith and the numbers was more watered down in the episode as well. To give some context, unlike in the episode where 664 and 665 gets immediately restrained by John's magic threats, in the light novel 666 manages to warn them so they reacted in time. Even 664 had tried to attack him, but because his threats seemed to be predicting her movements and limiting the direction she can dodge, she could not approach him, so she along with 665 were caught by him. As for number 666, her attack in the episode was similar to the light novel. She would rush towards him to eliminate the distance between them and that he won't have time to pull his wires. However, she was too focused on trying to avoid his magic dress that she missed the hidden ones he had prepared, and she ended up getting bound as well. After giving them a warning, we see in the episode he tosses them out the train, which definitely felt more brutal than the light novel version where he just lets them go. And I really have to commend the voice actress for 666 or Rose here. You can just hear her frustration of losing to John Smith and how defeated she sounds. With that, we see a squad walking back to inform Alpha about John Smith, and the next episode we'll see how they respond to this threat. Overall, this episode was amazing with some minor but acceptable changes. Gamma was Fwooshing killed in the fight, and I was surprised that John Smith was so brutal towards his own subordinates. But what were some of your favorite moments from the episode? Feel free to leave your answers in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this episode breakdown and cut content video, don't forget to leave a like or subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button as well for more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe everyone.